Good morning, Lizwe Nation. Welcome today again on Tea with Lizwe. And then thank you very much for attending our Facebook Live. And you're welcome. You're welcome. Today, our topic will be around 4 phases in an engineering career. So we look at the 4 phases in an engineering career. But who am I? My name is Lizwe Mknebe, and I help businesses and engineering executives to make sure that they get their return on investment when they make sure that they use their people, processes, and systems optimally in order for them to reach their goals at the end of every year or every quarter, depending on when they measure their key performance indicators as well. So today, as I've mentioned, our topic is in line with how do we go around as engineers in the 4 phases of our careers. So that is the topic that we'll be discussing today as well. And then firstly, what we will want to do today is we will want to thank all the health services specialists from our government of South Africa to the health ministry, to all the interdisciplinary ministries as well, for what they are doing in line with the COVID-19 pandemic. And then most importantly, we like to thank the front runners who are the doctors, the nurses, the emergency services personnel, and then with a very great input in line with what the Gauteng Department of Health will be doing in line with preparation of the Nasrec Expo Center, whereby they are converting it into a mini hospital. So we like to thank all the engineers that will be involved there, especially mechanical engineers in line with filtration, your air conditioning system, because you need to separate. That is very important. You need to separate the air and then extract the air that is unnecessary, that will cause diseases, and then make sure that that air is being recycled properly and then following the standard that is set by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, in line with emissions as well. So we'd like to thank you guys. And then the message from government is still saying we must stay at home. We know that the 21 days expires today, but with the extension that the president has put in for another extra 2 weeks, so we will abide by that as the citizens of South Africa. So you know that the coronavirus kills, and then in lockdown you only leave to buy food, go and see a doctor, and then for people that are getting social grants, that is the only time they will leave to collect such. So that is the message that is brought by the South African government. And then what is imperative is the 20 seconds rule in terms of health and hygiene, how you wash your hands and do all of that. The process, there are videos that are trending on TikTok in line with what exactly is constituted in the 20 seconds of washing our hands. Because remember what happens, bacteria flies. We can either catch it by inhaling it or touching surfaces and all of that. So let us abide by the government rule. Thank you very much in line with that. So today, as I've mentioned, in the engineering phase, you've got 4 of them. The first phase will be your education phase. Some other guys, when you finish your matric, you go to a varsity, and then you go and study engineering. I always say to people, there's 2 ways of becoming an engineer, and people don't believe me. And that is always my advice. You can either go to university or you can go to an FET. If you go to an FET, you'll become a better engineer, especially in your mechanical and electrical engineering. When you go to an FET, you are the brightest engineer. But people don't want to do that, because when you go to an FET, in order for you to sit down and write a government ticket, it might take you must have an experience of 6 years. and then you can sit down then and write your government ticket, which is provided by the Department of Labor. But an engineer that has got a GCC and an engineer that has got a degree, there's a difference. You'll just look at the statistics that I will give in terms of the amount or the pass rate of engineers that are coming from university and the engineers that are coming from FET, or who passes the most when you write a government ticket. So if you look at the government ticket, about 2% of people that sit in for a government certificate, they pass it. And most of the guys are coming from your FET colleges. The guys that are coming from university, they might repeat it. Maybe they pass it when they have tried it for the fourth year. So that is, but with your FET, whatever is asked in the government ticket is what they have learned at your FET colleges. So the destination is the same. You want to become an engineer, you either go to FET or you go to university, whichever one you prefer. But what I know is the government ticketed engineer, if he's a professional engineer, he is the one that earns a lot of money rather than the one that went to university. But we'll discuss that in another session of the Facebook Live, not here today. I know it will bring a lot of confusion, but we'll break it up when you go further. So that is our phase number one. Whether when you are at university, you decide to take 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, or 10 years to finish your degree, you are still at phase one. So these are the guys that will get, when they finish their education, they'll go and they become junior engineers at companies. And then from that, they will want to do a lot of technical things. And then when they see a senior engineer, they will say, hey, yes, this guy is an engineer, but he does not do any technical work. He does not do calculations and all of that. So they tend to have a lot of politics. But that is the mentality of a first phase, where you want to see a lot. You've got passion, you've got this energy of doing calculation, of proving a point that, hey, I've made it. I'm an engineer. I'm here. Give me projects. I want to do projects. So your time, periodically, it's 100% work related. So you want to solve problems that you are taught at varsity. That is your mentality. That is how it's set. So this period can be from 1 year to 5 years for other people. For other people, it can be 1 year. I know a guy that has typically went from this stage in the first year. The other person can be 3 months. In 3 months' time, he can pass this stage and go to the second stage, which we are going to, which is phase number 2. Phase number 2 in your engineering career is that one of a leader and management. So this simply means you are 50% doing your leadership or your leadership. In fact, phase 2 is your leader in technical. So it's half. So your leader, you are doing half as a leader or in management and half in technical. So you are doing calculation, but you are not that 100% now involved, because you have to make sure that whatever the guys have designed on the ground, it is implemented. So your management comes in handy there. So you need to make sure that you interact with other interdisciplinaries as well, where you communicate. If you are mechanical, you have to communicate your decision with process. From there, you have to discuss this decision with your civil, structural, electrical, instrumentation and controls, your piping design, your maintenance and operation. So that is the phase that you need to, so your communication must be very good. That is why if you look at phase 1, in other institutions like your vet university, they make sure that on your first day you do communication. You must pass your communication skills, because that is very important. I know other industries, when you get to them, they will want you to go and attend a course that deals with speaking or your communication skills or your report writing skills. So there are those things that will happen when a company wants to make sure that you adhere to the phases in engineering. So you find that the guys that are in phase 2, they are no longer now called juniors. They either called senior engineers, lead engineer, lead project engineer, you get a project manager as well. And typically, how these guys operate is they will have under them a junior engineer, one or two junior engineers that will report to him directly. So we can be able to assign tasks to those guys and say, this is what you must do for this week. And this is what I want. Can you make sure that you meet the deadline? So they will have the support in line with this as well in this regard. So typically, if you look at this one, it can take a period of 1 year to 10 years in phase 2. So it depends as well with your speed, how good you are. Let me go to phase 1. Phase 1, if I just rephrase on phase 1. Phase 1, when you enter your work environment, your education system, you must make sure that you have a mentorship. If you do not have a mentorship in engineering, it's like in a business. If you do not have a mentorship in a business, you will fail. If you do not have a mentorship in your engineering career, you will fail. Because you'll be repeating one thing for 5 years, still doing one thing. So you have to change that mentality as well. So the guys that are in phase 1, they can either seek advice to the guys that are in phase 2 to say, can you please be my mentor and I become your mentee, and then we take each other through this process as well. Because you must register as well as a candidate engineer with the Engineering Council of South Africa. And then that guy who's becoming your mentor will have to co-sign your report to say this job he has done, and then we approve that he has done this. But that will take another 5 years in order for Engineering Council of South Africa to approve you as a professional engineer. So that is typically phase 2, where you are becoming now a lead and an individual contributor in terms of a technical expertise in this case. And then let's go to phase 3. With phase 3, you are now having a major transition in mindset. So you can either be transition to management or to a technical expert. Now you become the expert in your subject matter as an engineer. So you need to choose between the two. Am I going for management? Am I going to become a technical expert in line with the equipments that I'm dealing with? If it's mechanical, am I going to specialize in mechanical equipments, rotating equipments, or am I going to specialize in your pressure vessels? Or I want to go to management, where I'll become now a project manager. So it depends on what kind of future do you want for yourself in phase number 3. So if you look, you can either become a subject expert matter, and then this takes from 10 to 12 years in your engineering career. From 10 to 12 years, you now transition from your lead or your contributing field to an expert or to management. So that is what you have to choose between them. So, but I'm saying with phase 3, you can opt out. That is what people do. When they get into phase 3, they tend to opt out. They either resign into a company because they know that they are the subject expert matter. They resign and then open their own practice and come and offer the same to their organization, because they know they've made sure that there's a niche for their subject and no one can do it. So if they open up a practice, surely they will be called in and then they'll make revenue out of that. This is what I did in 2009. I saw that there's a niche in my market, especially in reliability and maintenance. And I said, no, let me go out, and whoever is interested in me, I'll come in as an expert. That is what you'll typically do. So you resign, you go out, and then you start your own practice and you come. But if you still want to continue in the organization, you'll go to phase 4. Phase 4, we don't know, maybe start from 15 years to 30 years. And then when we arrive there, you'll say, I've been here for 30 years. You will never tell me anything. So that is what happens, where you find that this guy is either he's been there for 30 years. I know a guy who has been in an organization since 1996. So you can imagine how many years he's been there, and he's been in the same position. So that transition to phase 4, it's either you are taken to become a senior manager, or you become an executive. Maybe you become a general manager of operations and maintenance, or a general manager of engineering services. It depends on what you are good at. Or you can become head of operations or head of maintenance, but you still grow in the same company. Or, as I said, when you opt out and you resign, you go straight to phase 4, which you can either become a consultant, and then you offer your own services at your own rates, but in line with your guidelines from your Engineering Council of South Africa in terms of the prices or your consultation fee, in line with that guideline that I've just mentioned as well. So you've got a lot of options that you can look at and say, okay, this is what I want to do now. But remember, as I've mentioned, the foundation starts with a good mentorship. If you have a mentorship program, then you can be able to do this. But I said there are other guys that can do it in 3 months, other guys that can do it in 1 month. I know in an organization where I worked, in 3 months, things had turned around, where we entered in as graduate engineers, but in 3 months' time, we're given critical positions in the organization. I know in a company that I joined, there was a guy, a white guy that was coming from Highveld Columbus Steel. He just came into the organization, and then he was practicing under us for 2 months, and he was promoted to phase number 2. We were already in phase number 2, but he was promoted. He came in as a junior and he was promoted to phase number 2 because of what? The hard work. He will work with his mentor till midnight, do projects, win contracts, and then they saw that no, he's a good fit for phase number 2. So that is what you do as well in your engineering. When you do hard work, your mindset is set straight, what you want, you've got goals in terms of what you want in your life, then this is what you can do as well. So, but phase 4, like we said, it's your expertise, and then how properly do you market those as well. For us, we've had a tremendous role that we played in terms of making sure that we are known, that we are in this profession of engineering. Again, what helps is when you are outspoken, but you must be outspoken with facts. If you do it with facts, then that is right. But if you don't have facts, then that will be wrong. That was one of our strategy why we grew in 3 months, because we had facts. And people that we were reporting to denied that, no, guys, you cannot. So what we did is we said, is the organization structure flat or is it a pyramid structure? It was a pyramid structure, but we opted to shoot straight to where our mentee or our mentors were reporting to. It is not a good strategy sometimes, but sometimes it works. So you must just do it if you are aggressive. So I encourage you in your engineering career, look at these phases, know the time frames, and then have a good mentorship program or support program. Listen to Facebook Lives like this, and then you'll make it in your career. And then when you have liked this video, please comment or like or tag a friend, and then please join us tomorrow again as we discuss another topic. And then we'll say from Lizwe Nation, thank you very much for joining us today. We will see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much.